Multiplication and division of radicals. In multiplying radicals, we multiply the outside numbers together and the inside numbers together. Those that they are under the radical, we multiply them together. Those are the inside numbers and the outside numbers. So what do you think happens when we multiply 5 radical 3 times 4 radical 2? So remember our big idea, how do we multiply radicals? Yes, so we multiply the outside times the outside together, which are in red, and then and under the radical, we multiply the first number, which is inside the radical, times the second number, which is inside the radical. Thus, 5 times 4 radical 3 times 2. And now we just do our calculations. 5 times 4, which is 20, and radical 3 times 2, which is 6. In this example, what do you think will happen? We have radical 3 times radical 12. So the outside numbers together and the inside numbers together. But guess what? We do not have outside numbers here. The outside number here is 1. The outside number here is 1. So we just multiply the inside numbers. But before we do that, we can notice that 12 could be simplified. So we simplify 12 first. So 12 it's a 3 times 4, and 4 makes a perfect square. Thus, radical 3, I'm copying it the same, and 3 times 4, it's 2 squared. Thus, it will be 2 radical 3. And now we will multiply those two radicals together. So the outside together is 1 times 2, and the inside side together 3 times 3. Now, but 3 is the same, so 3 squared, and the square will cancel the radical, so we will have 3 times 2, which is equals to 6. Another example, we have 6 radical 8 times 7 radical 2. Remember the big idea? The outsides together and the insides together, we multiply them. Now we can simplify radical 8, and we can multiply and then simplify, so whatever you want. Now I multiplied here first, so in order to show you the both cases. So 6 times 7, we multiply them, the outsides together and the inside numbers together, 8 times 2. Now it will become 42 radical 16. Radical 16 is a perfect square because 16 is 4 squared. Then 24 times 4, 42 times 4, it will be 84. Dividing radicals. So whenever we have a big radical over a fraction a over b, that means the exact idea as radical a over radical b. So I can like distribute the radicals over the numerator and over the numerator. If I have big radical over all of the fraction, then I have radical on the numerator and radical on the denominator. Here's another example, a big radical 9 over 25. So as I said, we split the radicals for the numerator and for the denominator. Well, 9 is a perfect square, it's a 3, and 25 also is a perfect square, which is 5. So the answer is 3 over 5. Now, a big radical, 49 over 3. Now, remember to split the radicals for the numerator and for the denominator. So it's radical 49 over radical 3. And now 49 is a perfect square. We know that from the multiplication tables over radical 3. Well, I don't know what's radical 3. What do you think we should do? Are you thinking by taking off your calculator and trying it? Of course not. We should not do that because that it will give you a very big number that it does not end. So what should we do? Well, according to radical 3, it's radical 3. We can do nothing. But we must do something called rationalize the denominator because I don't want any radicals in my denominator. I don't like that. It's just that we do not keep radicals in the denominator. So we should do something that it's called rationalize the denominator, which means that it takes off the radical from the denominator. Okay? Then maybe a radical will appear in the numerator, maybe not, I don't know, I don't care. I just care that I do not want radicals in the denominator. So in order to get rid of this radical in the denominator, I will multiply by 3 in the numerator and in the denominator. So I can multiply, but I should multiply the numerator and the denominator. So I multiply them both, and in the numerator I'll have 7 times radical 3. So 7, you can imagine it as 7 radical 1, and I multiply the outside, which is 7, by the outside in this red one, so it's which is 1, so it will become 7, and the inside you can say that it's radical 1, so the inside is 1 times 3, it's radical 3. And below in the denominator, I have radical 3 times radical 3, which is radical 3 square, and that's how I get rid of the radical. So that is what is called by rationalizing the denominator.